go. It's about your application, and maintaining momentum. So yeah. Yeah.
Momentum. So what's your favorite color?
Red, bro. Red.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send this to you. Can you see that?
Oh, my man. Appreciate that, brother.
You're gonna be an ambassador for us, and then what we'll do is from the sales of the red ones, we'll give you a koha.
Man, massive. Bro,
Yeah.
we'll put that koha into something. What's that, sorry?
Consider us an official sponsor of what you're doing.
Oh,
Stand for everything that we're doing, Wellness. Yeah.
I thought I'd be cheeky. I'm actually recording the conversation, so I hope you kind of thought, there's a lot of little tidbits in the conversation that always start before the show. I thought, why not? We'll just kick it off and start going. But we'll kick it off anyway, and then we'll just roll and keep going. But kia ora koutou katoa, e ho mai, no mai, haere mai, ki te papa tākaro, or StayMe always, bringing it to you organic, live, and dynamic. So bring me your cup.
Here's a bottle.
Bring me your cup or a bottle. So cheers.
I'll
have one for you.
To tell her, I guess.
I'll take a photo of my setup, and my bottle's actually my stand.
Oh, I look forward to the post so I can put it in the show. But bring me cups and let's dip into the healing well. So I'm absolutely privileged to have a great friend of Mr. Teasy created over here, Albie Roebeck, on the show today. A youth development instructor at the New Zealand Defence Force, former combat systems specialist for the Royal New Zealand Navy, and you're a father. And I could probably go on, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it short and sharp and to the point. But thank you so much for jumping on the show. I really do appreciate it. And as usual, Mr. Teasy Creator had nothing but amazing things to say about you. And obviously with the cause and what we are doing with this YouTube show, with the Healing Well in Aroha Tāne, we're all about everything well-being. And what we focus on is our three essential totem poles, which is mental well-being, emotional wellness, and spiritual awareness. And I know this is something that Mr. Teasy created over here has said that resonates with you. So how are you? Where are you at the minute? Whereabouts in this lovely country of ours are you situated?
I'm in not Mission Bay, sorry, in Auckland Domain, like the museum. Yep. So training clients in between everything. And it's just beautiful to be outside, really, as much as it's good, trying to get back into the gym, but training people outside and being connected in that way, it's lovely, eh?
Yeah. To the Papatūānuku, and we talk always about nature and how much that actually does affect our wairua and us spiritually. But tell us and tell everybody else kind of what's your background, where you're from, what are you currently doing? Yeah,
cool. So Albie, the name, Albert's the full name, first name, but I go by Albie, and that's what I'm known as. And my ethnic background is Niue Samoan, and I've grown up on both sides, and I'm blessed to actually know on both sides and get to know my wider family, so to speak. And I joined the Navy at a young age, 18, and I've been there ever since. Got out for a stint here or there, and actually, looking back at it, it's probably the best thing that I could have done to actually reconnect and just reflect on who I am and where I was and what I wanted to be. So that was in my eyes, the best decision that I could have ever made at that time. So fast forward to now, everything that I do is purpose orientated. It's everything that I do has my purpose in mind, my kids at the forefront of my mind, and that's how I operate. And mental health awareness just falls in amongst that. And I mean, me suffering from it, and a lot of people that are out there in New Zealand and the world suffering from it, it's just something that we need to obviously normalize, I guess, and bring awareness to it.
Definitely. Well, past it back, what age were you when you started in the Navy?
18.
Wow, it's young.
Yeah.
And
Good though. Like, I think, I mean, you just decide, like I just decided that you have to do something with your life, and I think, my parents were strong enough to actually say, hey, this is where you need to go, even if you have to move out of home and go away, which I'm very, very grateful for.
yeah. And you said that you left for a short stint and you came back. What was the underlying reasons for you actually wanting to go back for that second time? Like, I know a lot of people that are in the army, and they're in there for many, many years, but once they leave, that's it. They don't usually go back.
Yeah, I guess like the youth development role that you spoke about, that I'm currently in, attracted me a lot. But also, I wasn't really going anywhere in the first place. I was stuck alongside for various reasons, welfare reasons, and I felt like I was just not progressing anywhere, taking up an opportunity for someone to come from ship to ashore and have some respite. So I thought, hey, look, this is not me at this point in time. Let's get out, let's explore something, and which we did, and it didn't wasn't successful. And that opportunity in the youth development space came knocking at the door, and like I just grabbed it, and the rest is history.
Tell us a little bit about the role. Obviously, I understand you're restricted, but just give us a real broad, kind of generalised overview of what that actually entails.
Yeah, cool. So the youth development role that I'm in at the moment is it's all MOE, MSD, initiated. So the limited service volunteer, the bigger group of what we're involved in is from the Ministry of Social Development, and basically it's a 6-week in-stay program where it gets people off that are on the benefit into our course. We basically a basic training on steroids in 6 weeks. We give them the skills and the basic knowledge and the common sense and the discipline and commitment that we have gained through the Defence Force. Install that in them. And at the 6-week mark, when they graduate, we look at around like 95, 96, 97% success rate in reintegrating them into employment and or further in education. So, from start to finish, the progression rate is huge. What they came in as to where they leave, it's unrecognizable.
Yeah. What sort of things do you teach them within the 6 weeks? Because of what I'm hearing, this sounds so cool that I'm almost questioning the benefits of going to school versus doing something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there's I wouldn't know too much about the benefit, like the education system, what it's like now, but I guess for these guys that are anywhere from 17 to 25, I mean, like, everyone deserves a second chance, and some people need 3 chances or 4 chances, and this is what we give them. And I guess, like, if we can help someone out, and give them those tools, especially integrity, and commitment and courage and comradeship. So the values that we gain in the Defence Force, if we can impart them onto them, like it's massive. And yeah, it's just, I really can't speak highly enough of it. I mean, it's something that you would have to see from start to finish.
Yeah.
For you to actually grasp the full effect of it.
Yeah. For you to have that higher success rate, and then you're talking about all the key values and morals, integrity, camaraderie, all those things actually help your students to understand within that 6-week course. I'm just sitting there questioning, going, there's so many things that we entrust in the school system, and don't get me wrong, I'm not putting the school system down, but there's a lot of things that happens with the school system, yet the percentage rate is a lot lower. The morals and the values possibly look very different. With your students, looking at from a kind of a wellness perspective, what do they see at the end of the course? Like, because you've been there when they first started, where maybe they weren't going anywhere in life, and then after the 6 weeks, there's obviously a turn at some point where they feel valued, they feel important, they feel as though they can give back to their community?
I guess that they have a better clarity of mind. I mean, like they're really restricted in what they can do and what they can't do. They become drug and alcohol free for that entire course. So obviously, substance abuse is out the window, and we know, once you start coming off that, the clarity of mind is
Absolutely.
hey, So I guess that they're able to make better decisions. Their skin's a lot clearer. They look a lot healthier. These types of things that, mean a lot from the internal perspective, but also at the aesthetic perspective and gaining jobs or gaining, education, is that when you do show up for a job interview, you look the part. And, and from my perspective is that it's all about going into a job interview and, and selling yourself and going, what can you as the employer, give me rather than what I can give you, so to speak. So, add value both ways. Yeah.
You also come across a lot of young minds and young people where they probably face a lot of, trauma, adversity, challenges through quite a bit of their life. And during the 6 weeks, how do you help them? Because it'll just be a natural exert of them, I think, with what's happened with them. It'll just naturally come out with, obviously, the things that you do with them. How do you actually help them?
Yeah, I guess the way that I operate is that it's not only just for work orientated stuff. It's like when I train my boxing team or clients and educating my children, it's about understanding that resilience cannot be taught. It's something that is installed in you through these hard times. So when we talk about resilience to clients or to the LSV trainees or whatever, is that you want to be able to hack into their past and go, hey, look, this is what happened to you. Yes, there's trauma in there, but you were able to overcome that in these ways and actually turn that negative into like 1,000 positives and really extract that light from that darkness, and then use that as a way to teach and a way to actually build perseverance and install some resilience in there.
What sort of things do you actually do? A lot of the roles that I've had in the past, I've dealt with so many individuals, staff members, where I've had to coach and mentor through the business, but then it also crossed over into their personal life where I had to help a lot of teenagers with pregnancy, depression, anxiety, suicide, domestic violence. What sort of things do you do on the course to help them? What sort of examples? And I know you just spoke about resilience, but what sort of things can people take away if they watch our show today so that they can try it or with others?
Routine is huge, and installing into them that it's not okay to sleep the entire day. You're wasting precious time, and time is a resource that costs, is priceless. And I mean, like when we install this routine in them, it's 5:30 wake up call, and 6 o'clock or 6:30 breakfast, so to speak, and we're kickstarting into the day at 7:30, and so on and so forth. So routine is huge. It plays a huge part in their life and in our program and in my life and things like that. So yeah.
No, definitely. And I know you spoke about, you've experiences throughout your years around wellness and well-being. Do you want to kind of give us a bit of an insight into your journey of what that looked like and how you overcome your challenges through life?
Yeah. So obviously, I've been through depression. Sorry, but I don't know if you can hear me. The wind or.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, mate. So depression. I went through depression a couple of times in my life, and not understanding what it actually is, and the what would you call it? the methods of actually dealing with it and overcoming it, and just knowing that, hey, look, it is what it is. It's okay to feel the way that we're feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's okay to actually ask for help and reach out, and do so, whether it's to a helpline, or whether it's to a mate or parents or whatever. So through my journeys of that, that's one thing that actually stuck out, and that's what we're trying to preach, throughout these times.
And it's important because so many years, a lot of people have been misdiagnosed, and literally shunned and pushed aside and possibly ostracized because people are failing to want to understand, they're actually failing to listen, which is quite big in society now. Everybody's all about, hear me, look at me, it's all about me, but actually it's about the person standing in front of you, because a lot of the times it's them that's actually asking for help, but yet the focus is being put straight onto something else. Do you think culture and where you come from helps with that journey and helps you to understand how to fulfill whatever you're going through?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just on an individual basis, really, and how connected you are to your culture. And like my perspective on culture is it's anything, like the culture within your rugby team, your league team, the culture within your support group. So I mean, yeah, it's just it on an individual basis. For me, culture was huge, and it wasn't the culture of my ethnicity, so to speak. It was the culture of my friendship and my support group, and they're massive, and they play even today. They're just you know they're integral to my growth and to where I'm headed in life.
Yeah.
Mm.
In the first 7 years of your life, and we talk about our first 7 years and how that actually shapes who we are, the transition, the paths that we take, the experiences that we kind of understand to then try and work towards. Do you think the first 7 years of your life is something that really does take an effect on you as an individual, going through the years?
Man, it's interesting, eh? I would say so. And reflecting back on it, and I did this timeline therapy years ago, and it was very evident, and and we touched on so to speak, from ages, so on and so on, and a lot of things popped up around that 5 or 6 year mark, hey, and how it actually plays in, and how traumatizing some things can be.
Yes.
And at school, for instance, is when you get bullied at school your first time, and how that carries, on throughout your lifetime. And I would be lying if I said it still doesn't affect me, because some memories do come up of those times, and and you just try and, like I said, pick out the positives from those negative things, and turn them into lessons.
And hopefully it hasn't traumatized you enough where it gets handed down to your children, because I know that's
Yes.
that generally does continue on as you go by, especially if you don't have that understanding and address it. Just going quickly back to, that's a question I wanted to ask previous with your students. Is there a balance of female and male that come through? Is it predominantly male, predominantly female?
Yeah, it is predominantly male, but it's it's pretty close to being balanced out in the majority of intakes. I mean, if anything, it's probably more dominated by Maori and Pacific Islanders, just because of the background and things like that. But yeah, not looking too much into it. I mean, from our eyes as a human's a human, and we just treat them, as such, and forget about their past and try and build a newer them, so to speak.
I love the way that you talk. Absolutely love it. It doesn't matter your background, your ethnicity, your culture, where you come from, your demographics. It doesn't matter. It's who you are as an individual, and you just keep going and moving forward, which is amazing and cool. And Did you have a superhero when you were growing up?
Wasn't more like superheroes. It was like WWF when it was WWF
Yeah.
back then. The Heart Foundation and just that. Like I remember just being obsessed.
Who was the one with the
Remember
snake?
seeing Rick Rude?
Yeah. With the snake.
The snake. Was there one
Jake
with
the snake.
Oh,
Jake the snake. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and ravishing Rick Rude. Yeah. But I used to like Macho Man Randy Savage. That was,
Yes. Yeah.
would be my superhero back then. Yeah.
Do you have a superhero now, or do one of those WWF characters continue throughout your progression of adulthood?
Yeah. I don't know. Superhero. Nah. If I was to put that into like a human form, it'll be. I'm reading Matthew McConaughey's book at the moment, and man, it's a good read. And I've always liked him as a actor, and and what he stands for. And just reading this book, it just puts him on a pedestal above, everything else. So yeah, he'd probably be a superhero, so to speak.
Does he depict? Because I watched him in a lot of those, serious action movies, just the lighter versions, and I always had this kind of thought of him being, very smart and intelligent, sensitive. Coming across that way in the book. How does he?
Yeah, he's very wise, and from at a young age, it was like in the book. To me, it's very evident that he knew, what he wanted to do without knowing what he wanted to do, so to speak. It's almost like he set these things up, not knowing how it would probably end up later on in life, but also knowing that he was going to write a book about it. So, for instance, in this book, it's got like little snippets of the poetry he used to write as a kid, and some quotes that he liked growing up, and also like video recordings, obviously, verbaled out in this book. But for instance, he owned an RV, and he had like a speakerphone where he would just ramble his thoughts into the speakerphone, record it, and then he's written it down in his book. So yeah, it's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any talents?
Me?
You're allowed.
I wouldn't. What's that?
You're allowed to be honest.
Talents. I wouldn't. I don't know. I really don't know. Ian.
Of yourself. That's okay.
I think. I mean, I like to think that my talent is being able to develop people, and develop them safely, but also to be honest and yeah.
Those are two gifts, all in their own capacity, because
Right.
some people can help other people. Because I try to, I'm not very good at it, but my intentions are always there. And then, how many people can grow people? Not many. Because I always try to say those are gifts in themselves. I just wanted to ask you, and I've got 10 quick fire questions coming up for you too. I want to ask you, when you read books by stars, well-known people, reputable people, do you see the correlation, the direct connection between mindset and intelligence and where they've ended up? Or do you think that where people end up is just capricious in nature and that anybody could end up there by chance?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've only read 3 books in my lifetime, and these are the 3 books that I've read this year. And, yeah, and so I mean, I guess it's like one you're almost push there through your experiences, whether they're good or bad, or hard or challenging. So by default, yes and no. Yes, your intentions, I guess, like you're always attracted to steer the course where it's most comfortable for you at that present time. Yeah, if that answers your question, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It's one of those situations with myself. I was going to study. I was going to be an accountant, like everybody else, a lawyer, a doctor, but I chose accountancy, and I was going to make lots and lots of money. And I ended up working in retail for nearly 20 years, half my life. So I took a total change in different direction. But for me, and I suppose it's to ask and answer Tizzy's question, that I was at the right place, but I was able to use my mind and my skills to actually, and we hate using this word, but manipulate the situation to actually, for it to then become advantageous for you, and then it just takes off and then it becomes progressional. So, yeah.
Let's change that word to toggle.
Toggle. Toggle. We'll use that. Your children, how many kids do you have?
Yeah, I have 4.
Oh, mate. Always
yeah.
good.
I was showing.
1 girl, sorry, 1 boy and 3 girls.
Yep.
Cool.
You almost threw me just then. I was like, what?
How
We're actually a blended family. Yeah, so the oldest is 13, my boy is about to turn 13, and then my girl, she's almost 8 in December, and then the youngest one is 5.
Have you found, just with COVID, because this has been also a hot topic that we talk about on the show, and the effects that COVID has had on us as individuals, as families, but also on children, have you found that COVID has actually had an effect on your kids, and if so, how?
Yeah, I think so. I guess you tend, if I was to compare last lockdown with this lockdown, completely different. Last lockdown, they handled it like champs, and this lockdown towards past that 7-week, 8-week mark, it's just tend to, lack of a better phrase, is try and express how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And so they tend to bottle it up, and in case that, like when they say it, that might be the wrong time or whatever it may be. And I guess that now that they're able to just go to school periodically, they're able to go, hey, look, like I miss my friends, I miss school, but I also miss home, and these types of things. So yeah, it has changed them, but not too much. But yeah, I think that the length of this lockdown has actually tested communication boundaries a little bit, and closed it up, so to speak.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I know with my children, especially, they're glued to their devices, and I'm very much an advocate for getting the kids outside, trying to get them to read more often, be proactive and do practical and creative things. But what I have found with one of my daughters is there is a need for acceptance of people, more so than the other one, and the other one's better. And and if that person doesn't accept me, then I'm upset instantaneously, just like that. I'm upset, and because how they're communicating is through Kids Messenger, through those interactive games, and that once I call that person, they don't answer, the world's all over.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if your kids have had the same thing, but I've just found that whole social interaction looks so different to our social interaction that we all had as children.
Yes. Yeah.
We
It does.
park on our bikes and our skateboards. So we were out till bloody 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Like these days, you would never do that.
Yes. Yeah. And like water guns was huge, and hey, so water bombs, yeah, exactly. Which is interesting, because I said yesterday when it was hottest, you know, in Auckland, and I was like, hey, let's go and get some water bonds and have a water balloon fight.
Yeah.
And all of them said no. I was like, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
this used to be, you know, really, really fun when we were growing up.
Yeah. Are your kids, are they addicted to devices as well?
No, we really limit that, you know, the device time, and we actually make it a reward system rather than, you know, just the sake of like, hey, you guys going to have device time now, 30 minutes. Because it's really easy to fall into that trap, eh? And we have, or I have in the past, and it's quite weird, eh? I think you know, you guys can probably answer this question: is that in lockdown, you'd seem to be a lot busier than what you were at work, eh?
Yeah.
So,
Excellent. Especially when you're
yeah,
running your own businesses like you
yes,
are, and like you're outside a lot training, and then I don't actually know what your time increments are inside, outside, but me, all of our commerce is done e-commerce, and so I probably spend the bulk of my day inside, anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day.
all right,
Every now and then we'll go out in the morning and go to the Hakari Matas, which is shortened, abbreviated to the Hucks. It's quite a well-known
Trick.
trek up a quasi mountain, so to speak. Okay, you use so to speak because I use that too. Yeah, just watching you, like I've watched you on multiple platforms since I first met you way back in what 2000 or 2003.
four, yeah, 3 and 4, yeah,
So you know, and I've always kept in contact with you and all the boys in the Navy, Ra, everybody. But to me, the person I noticed the most, the person that I noticed because of purpose was you, and that's why I've always stayed in contact with you. And I thought it would be great to get your perspective on things and get you on this show.
yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I
that.
think very highly of you, and because I don't like without being disrespectful to people, because I love everybody. But like you said before, our biggest commodity is time, because once it's gone, you can't get it back.
Yep.
And so, yeah, for me, and I'm sure for you and for Jamie as well, where we invest our time, because a lot of people, they take it the wrong way when you don't invest time in them. But it's not that at all. It's just that because you know you can't get it back. So I want to make sure that I'm investing my time. If it's in people, which it always is, because it doesn't matter whether it's directly or indirectly, we're always investing it in people.
Yeah.
And so you just want to make sure that that purpose for those people is worthwhile, and you're not expending too much energy, and you're not refilling your cup around with the people who fill your cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And I was talking to my son about this today. Is that like, you know, this day and age, everyone wants to receive and does not want to give.
Yeah.
And you know, and they're free to receive in abundance, but they're never free to give back in abundance. Say, and that's what I was trying to teach him today. It's like, you know, you need to understand.
It's an amazing topic to actually pass over to your kids, and you know that's what I try and do also, because that's what I'm about. My purpose is service to others, but it's never to actually receive back. And if I get it, hey, thank you, Lord. But it's always about giving to others. Now I'm mindful of the time, so what I'm going to do is TC's going to ask you 10 really quick questions because I don't want it to go over time. So ready, go.
Nets or Lakers?
Lakers.
Pork or chicken?
Say that again, sorry.
Pork or chicken?
Let's just go chicken. I'm vegetarian, but we'll just go chicken.
Yeah.
Neither.
I'm going back there. I'm going back to just eating veggies. Watercress or puha?
Yeah, watercress.
Pink or green?
Pink.
Prince or MJ?
Ooh, Prince.
Yeah.
Mountain or sea?
Sea.
Snowboard or surf?
Surf.
All Blacks or Black Caps?
Yeah, all blacks. Sorry, black caps.
No, that's not hard. That's not a hard one.
Hunting or fishing?
Fishing.
Kina or crayfish?
Oh, yeah, crayfish actually, yeah.
Army, Air Force, or PUS?
Hey, you know the answer, brother. Yeah.
Hey, look, Albie, I want to say thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and especially because I know you're under the pump and you've got a lot of important clients and things to do. But thank you so much for imparting your wisdom and your knowledge. If you had to leave a lasting word for the young ones, for anyone that's maybe struggling with mental health and distress and awareness, what would it be?
Yeah, it's quite simple actually, and I did a little video on this earlier this year, and nothing changes if nothing changes. Yeah, and there was a quote when we used to play league for Navy and Dolphins, and our coach at the time, said that, and it's just stuck with me ever since. And it's something that like I like to apply every day. So nothing changes if nothing changes.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
I love it.
That makes absolute sense. And, I'm actually going to put that into play because there's a few mindset things I need to get over, and that's actually going to help me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want you back on the show because I actually have so many more questions.
Definitely, my brother, definitely.
We're like short of time, but thank you so much for coming on the show. You were absolutely going to help and shape and change all of our audience's lives. So, ngā mihi, thank you so much.
Your address so we can send you a mask, and you're officially a Playoffs ambassador, playoffs.co.nz, and then obviously we'll pat your back with your tops and your shirts and your hats and whatever other merchandise you do.
Thank you.
Let's catch up as soon as we can.
Yes, mate. Appreciate it as always, and really, really keen. But hey, thanks. I really honestly appreciate it. Your guys' energy is amazing, and slowly getting through your guys' podcast. So man, it's awesome, and I think that you guys are doing wonderful things. So thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate it. Take care. Safe.
You too.
See you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. See you then. All right.
Bye.
Thank you.